Why does anxiety make your brain go blank right when you need it most? Think about that for a second. You have a deadline. You have things to do. You know what you're supposed to be working on. And yet your mind just disappears. Not peaceful, not restful, just gone in the worst possible way. That foggy, empty blank that shows up precisely when you can't afford it. Right before the presentation. Right before the conversation that matters. Right before the moment you've been building toward. And the harder you try to grab your focus back, the further it drifts, like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. What if the real problem isn't discipline? What if it's not laziness or weakness or some flaw that separates you from people who seem to have it together? What if your body is pushing your focus offline before you even realize it, before your conscious mind gets a vote? That changes everything, and that's exactly what we need to unpack right now. In this video, I'll show you why anxiety can completely wreck your concentration, not metaphorically, but at the level of your nervous system and brain chemistry, in ways that have nothing to do with how smart you are or how much you care. I'll show you the hidden mistake almost everyone makes when they try to fix it. And I'll be direct. This mistake doesn't just fail. It actively accelerates the problem. And then, I'll walk you through 3 body-based resets that may genuinely help you feel calmer, clearer, and more in control. No fake motivation, no impossible morning routine, just practical resets. The kind that work with your biology instead of grinding against it. Most people don't realize this, but anxiety doesn't just make you feel nervous. It makes your mind feel completely unavailable. And those are not the same thing. Nervousness is uncomfortable, but you can push through nervousness. Unavailability is different. It's like trying to run a program on a computer without enough memory to load it. You can click all you want. The system keeps buffering. Nothing responds. And you just sit there watching it spin. You sit down to work and your thoughts feel noisy. Not energized noisy, just chaotic, overlapping, impossible to grab onto. You try to read something and nothing sticks. Same sentence 3 times and still couldn't tell me what it said. You try to focus and your brain feels like a TV stuck between channels, not tuned into anything useful, just static you can't clear no matter what you try. And this happens at the exact moments when clarity matters most. Before the deadline. Before the conversation with real stakes. That's not a coincidence. That's not a character flaw. That is your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. And the design was never built for the kind of pressure modern life generates every single day. Here's what's actually happening. When anxiety spikes, your amygdala fires a real physiological alarm. Blood flow redistributes. Your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for planning, focusing, and thinking clearly under pressure, receives significantly less of it. Resources shift toward survival, toward speed and escape, not toward analysis, not toward concentrated work. The thinking part of your brain starts running on low power, not because you're incapable, because your nervous system identified a threat and responded the way evolution trained it to. The problem is, it cannot distinguish between a predator and an overflowing inbox. It treats both identically. That's where everything starts to unravel. And here's the real problem. When people notice they can't focus, most do one thing. They push harder. More screen time, more coffee, more guilt. They make longer lists, switch locations, try a different playlist, anything to force through the fog. And here's what all of that actually does. It adds more pressure to a nervous system already operating in stress mode. Think carefully about what that means. Your brain detected a threat. Your response is to generate more urgency, more internal alarm, more demand. You are adding fuel to the exact fire burning your focus down. This is where it gets interesting. What looks like a discipline problem, what feels like procrastination, what gets labeled laziness, what you lose sleep over, is very often not a discipline problem at all. It is a nervous system problem, a body problem before it is ever a brain problem. You cannot outthink a dysregulated nervous system. You cannot outschedule it, out-hustle it, or guilt-trip it into cooperation. Every time you pile more pressure onto a maxed-out system, you deepen the hole. More exhaustion, more shame, more confusion about why nothing works when you're clearly trying hard. The strategy that feels like the solution, push harder, demand better, is frequently the exact thing making it worse. And almost nobody says that out loud. Nobody talks about this enough. Not your productivity influencer, not the algorithm, not the hustle content telling you the only thing between you and your goals is discipline and a better morning routine. Nobody is telling you that sometimes your brain doesn't need more hacks. It doesn't need another app or another system layered on top of something already breaking. It needs less threat. The threat level needs to come down, because threat is what's keeping you stuck, not laziness. Not some quality other people were simply born with, the perceived threat of falling behind, the perceived threat of not being enough, the perceived threat that has been living in your body so long you've started to mistake it for your personality. It shows up as tension in your shoulders you stopped noticing because it's been there so long, a jaw you clench without awareness. Breathing that stays fast and shallow all day because your nervous system never got the signal the emergency is over. Overstimulation from constant notifications and tab switching that trains your attention to scatter before you've even begun a task. And that internal monologue that never goes quiet. I'm falling behind. Something is wrong with me for not being able to handle this. All of it keeps the threat response burning. All of it keeps attention fragmented. And fragmented attention cannot concentrate, not as a metaphor, as a neurological fact about how the brain actually works. So here's the question I want you to honestly sit with right now. When anxiety spikes and your focus crashes, what do you actually do? Do you push harder, stacking more pressure onto a system already past its limit, grinding until you're completely empty? Or do you shut down, drift toward your phone, avoid the task, and carry the weight of that avoidance for the rest of the day? Most people do one or the other. Both are responses to a body that doesn't feel safe enough to think clearly. Neither one is a character flaw, but one of them has a better exit ramp, and that is exactly where we're going next. Start with your body, not your planner, not a new system, your body. That's the reset point. That's the lever nobody tells you to pull first because it's too simple to sound impressive and too effective to ignore. Here's how it works. 3 steps, specific enough to be real, simple enough to do right now. Step 1, release visible tension. Quick body scan. Not a meditation, just look. Shoulders raised, drop them deliberately. Jaw tight, unclench it. Hands gripping something, open them flat. These 3 areas, shoulders, jaw, hands, store chronic stress quietly without permission. You've probably been holding tension in at least one of them this entire time without realizing it. Releasing them sends a real de-escalation signal to your nervous system. You're not trying to feel perfectly calm. You're turning the volume down 1 notch. 1 notch is a measurable shift. Step 2. Slow your exhale. Don't overthink it. Just make your exhale last longer than your inhale. A longer exhale directly activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for pulling you out of fight or flight and back toward recovery. This is respiratory physiology, not wellness mythology. The extended exhale stimulates the vagus nerve, signals your heart rate to slow, and tells your nervous system the threat is passing. You're not aiming for a meditative state. You're interrupting the momentum of the spiral before it takes your focus down with it. 3 or 4 slow exhales. Notice what shifts. That shift is physiological, it's real, use it. Step 3, choose 1 clear task, 1 timer, 1 target, not a project, not a vague intention. 1 task. Set a timer. 25 minutes works well, but 10 is valid if that's where you are. Name one specific target, write the opening paragraph, answer the 3 most urgent emails, read the first chapter. Concrete, contained, small enough to picture done before you start. Because when your nervous system is overwhelmed, open-ended tasks register as additional threats. Too large, too undefined. A small, specific task gives your focus somewhere to land, and once it lands, momentum begins. Momentum carries you when motivation won't show up. No multitasking, no tab switching, no phone. One thing for however long you set. That is the strategy, not glamorous. Deeply underused, because people chasing a fix reach for complexity when their nervous system is asking for simplicity. The goal is not to become fearless in 5 minutes, not to eliminate anxiety forever, or to transform into someone who moves through high-pressure moments without a trace of self-doubt. That is not a real goal. It's a marketing pitch. Any content genuinely promising that outcome is selling something it cannot deliver. The real goal is quieter. Stop making anxiety louder. Stop feeding the alarm with more pressure, more guilt, more urgency. Give your body a de-escalation signal. Give your brain a clear, specific target. Start small, because small things are real things, and real things compound. Most people are not broken. They are not lazy, not incapable, not missing something essential that others were simply born with. They are overloaded, running a full operating system on a depleted battery and blaming themselves every time the screen goes dark. The 3 resets from today, releasing tension in your shoulders, jaw, and hands, slowing your exhale, choosing one task with one timer and one target, won't undo years of chronic stress in one session. But they give your nervous system something it rarely gets: permission to de-escalate. When that happens, even partially, the thinking part of your brain starts coming back online. When it comes back, you get your thinking back. When you get your thinking back, you get traction. And traction is all you need. If this video helped you see what's actually happening when anxiety kills your focus, if something here gave a name to what you've been carrying, do one thing right now. Drop a comment. What is your #1 anxiety focus symptom? Racing thoughts that spiral and won't slow down, a blank mind that empties out the moment pressure rises, the overthinking loop replaying the same worries on endless repeat, or that deep mental fatigue that makes everything feel impossible before you've even begun? Tell me which one hits closest. Knowing your specific pattern isn't just self-awareness. It's where real change starts. I read every comment. Drop yours below. Below the video, find the link to download the free Brain Focus Mastery ebook. It goes deeper into everything we covered: the physiology of anxiety and attention, body-based regulation, and how to build a mental clarity routine that holds even when anxiety is high and motivation is low. It's free. Download it. Use it. And if you're building a more consistent mental clarity routine and want additional support alongside these habits, NeuroSharp is one option worth exploring. Not a shortcut, not a replacement for the real work, just one piece of a thoughtfully built system for people who want every reasonable, well-grounded advantage they can access while doing the hard thing. The link is below. Take care of your nervous system. It is not a soft priority. It is the foundation everything else runs on. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.